Bill Donohue, the president of the Catholic League, author of the new book, Sense Catholicism, How to Resolve Our Cultural Crisis. This is the name of the book. Let's get a nice close-up of that, George. That's Mr. Donohue, if we can. Thank you so much. This is the book from Bill Donohue. Hey, Bill, welcome to the show, man. Great to see you again, my friend.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
How are you? How you doing, you fine Catholic boy? Yeah, go ahead.
The book is #1 Catholic bestseller in the country, #3 overall of all Catholic books in print. In 1 week.
This is
sold
great.
out on Amazon, but they're restocking on Friday.
So where are we as Catholics? Because you know what? I go to church. Here, let me give you the mic here so you can look at me. We're on a tight budget here, so we can't even get a microphone cord there. There we go. Thank you, Bill. Hey, so I with all the problems of the Catholic Church, I talk to you as a fellow Catholic.
Right.
You know, and then everybody goes, and they bash us constantly. So now, you know what? I double down. I can't wait. Today, after we talk, after I do everything at the station, I stop by Our Lady of Victory on the way down, drop to my knees, give my thanks. I'll pray to the saints. I tell them, they think I'm nuts around here. You pray to the saints? I do. I put the saints out at St. Joseph and everything. I just believe so strong in my faith. My daughter does her first Holy Communion, Bill, this weekend. It was jam crowded. The faith in that room, the love in that room, the commitment to the Catholic religion, to me, is stronger than ever within the flock.
And it should be. Let me just address that. Most of the problem in the church took place from 65 to 85. If you take a look at the number of priests who have a credible accusation made up against them, and deacons, 50,000 of them, you're down to the single digits, 7 or 8 a year. This problem is way past the Catholic Church. That's why every time they have these grand jury things, they find out these guys are either dead or out of ministry. The problem's in the public schools, but nobody wants to talk about that. Certainly de Blasio is not going to have any interest in that.
Yeah, so I always suggested that maybe the Catholic school system takes over the public school system.
That would be a major improvement.
You know what? And maybe Cardinal Dolan runs that, and you can run it through. I mean, economically, it would be better.
Listen, in the book, Common Sense Catholicism, I mentioned how de Blasio said, I'm going to do something different from Bloomberg. Bloomberg said, I'm going to cut the funding to poor public schools. De Blasio says that's wrong. I'm going to give them more money. So over 3 years, he spent $839 million on the 94 worst public schools. 3 years later, 91 of them failed to meet their standard. This is incredible, this kind of stupidity. Now, what the book is basically about is that it's the intellectuals, the deep thinkers, not all of them, of course, but the blue sky type people, these wizards, who reject the idea of human nature, and they reject the idea of nature's God. And once you get those two things wrong, everything you touch goes down the sink.
Bill Donohue with us, 827. I just got to get to the problems in the Catholic Church that you see. I always say 99.9% of the Catholic priests are true disciples of Christ.
Right.
You see them. I mean, it's a very tough job. There's a funeral. They get called in the middle of the night to go visit a sick person. To do a funeral that night, they have to do a wedding the very next day.
That's exactly
They have to listen to you and me whine about our problems in a confession. They are dedicated to everything that Christ stood for. Then you get some monsters that abuse children, and in my opinion, there should be the death penalty if you're going to use the cloak of Christ to assault a child in the name of God Almighty. It's such a small percentage. One is too many. We acknowledge that. But what they don't talk about in the Catholic religion is Catholic Charities saving the inner cities of the United States of America. They're the only organization that steps up anymore. The government's not doing it.
Well, we get the bad rap, and you could think of every demographic group, racial, ethnic, religious. They all have their stereotype, right? But we're careful in our society not to generalize from a few to the collective, except when it comes to priests. So you get a couple of bad apples here. Now they're all a bunch of molesters. But you wouldn't say that about different races and ethnic groups and religious groups.
God forbid.
Sexual orientation and whatnot. So all I'm asking for is an equal playing field.
That's right.
Why the cherry picking?
That's
Why
right.
are you picking only? This is religious profiling.
Yeah. And if you're in Philadelphia at a mosque and teaching kids how to sing a song about beheading infidels, that's okay. You don't even see that in the mainstream media.
No, they're going to cover up on that. They're going to cover up.
So what's the beef you have with Mayor Pete the Buttigieg? This guy, Mayor Pete. I mean, this is. I don't understand how this guy is all of a sudden the darling of the Democratic Party. What is your beef with Mayor Pete?
He's 37 years of age, and he's married to his boyfriend, and his foreign policy experience is going to the International House of Pancakes. This guy let's face it, if Notre Dame wasn't in South Bend, nobody would even hear of South Bend. And this guy wants to run for president of the United States. I mean, good luck, Pete.
Well, but yeah, and it's okay. He has a boyfriend, but in the true Catholic with the whole gay marriage thing, a lot of us don't even have time for it or even care about it. Who are we to judge, Bill Donohue? Right? Who are we to judge? Can we accept all? Is that okay to say that?
Yeah. Well, I can accept homosexuals as equal to heterosexuals. Every person, male, female, of every cut, is equal. That's equal in the eyes of God. But I don't have to accept polygamy, and I don't have to accept two women marrying. That's the institution. I have a right to reject it, and I do.
Yeah, you have a right to do it.
Right.
And does the Bible literally say that? Does it say that?
Well, it says that you shouldn't lie with another man. I think we know what that means.
Yeah.
We know what it says in Leviticus and Deuteronomy. It's very, very clear. Now, look, I'm not out to persecute the guy if he wants to get married to his boyfriend. I don't care about that. What he's trying to do is saying, look, I'm as Christian as everybody else, but you don't accept the Christian idea of marriage. You don't accept the Christian idea when it comes to sexual. Well, I shouldn't say all sexual proclivities, but clearly when it comes to abortion, he's as pro-abortion as everybody else. So he's trying to drape himself in the rhetoric of religion the way Obama did. I don't think it's going to work.
Stay with me on this, Bill. I respect that you always stick up for the Catholic religion. I really do. What do you say to we Catholics that we don't care about gay marriage? We support the homosexual community. We embrace them. We love them. We have no problem with any of that. And we would like to move on from that and just worship Christ, worship God in the way we want and not vilify somebody for the sexual purposes.
I don't think people should be vilified for being a homosexual. I mean, that's simply bigoted. But I don't have to accept a gay lifestyle, or what Larry Kramer once called a gay death style. Now, I don't like that with straights. You remember they used to have the Plato's Retreat here back in the 1980s in New York City.
Whoa, what a reference from Bill Donohue.
Yeah. Well,
how do you know about that, man?
I read it, but I read about it.
Bill, did you wear a disguise and go there?
Those straight people were crazy. And I think that one of the problems at our age is when it comes to sex, this is true of money, it's true of food, it's true of drinking, it's true of drugs. We are too promiscuous and and greed. And quite frankly, if we practiced a little bit of restraint in our society, as the Catholic Church teaches, we'd be a lot happier. I'm not asking, believe me, I am no prude. Everybody knows Bill Donohue. I am no prude. I'm simply saying God gave us some breaks. Why don't you guys use them once in a while, including the gals?
Hey, Bill, do you think that Notre Dame fire, and I don't want to be conspiratorial here, though, awfully suspicious, no? Notre Dame going up in flames like that, huh?
Well, what bothered me the most about it is that the French authorities declared that this was a pure accident before they conducted the forensic examination.
You're right.
Now, why would they make that decision? Look, again, I don't want to beat up on gays or Muslims or blacks or Jews or Catholics or anybody, but we can't have an intelligent discussion given the fact that Muslims destroyed a 17th century Catholic church in France the month before. Radical Muslims, I mean. I'm not talking about regular Muslims.
Yeah, exactly.
But, and all the other things that have been going on, and you're not allowed to talk about it. Even my friend Neil Cavuto cut me off at Fox News. I didn't even mention the word Muslim or religion. And wow, we think we know where you might be going, Bill. Oh my God! So we'll all play stupid now.
When did that happen? What was that?
That was here about a couple of weeks ago. The reaction of people was rather enormous on my side. Even Rush Limbaugh came down on my side very strongly.
I love Neil Cavuto.
He's a good guy.
He is. And,
but he got the word from up high.
You think so?
Absolutely.
Well, we support Neil. We support Rush, and we love what you do in the Catholic Church. But we want to support everybody, like Pope Francis said himself. Who are we to judge? This is the name of the book, Bill Donohue, Common Sense Catholicism. And again, where can people learn about the book? Number one, number two, where do we learn about Catholic charities?
Well, Catholic Charities, of course, gets most of its money, from the federal government. So I'm not so Catholic that they are in that sense, but they've done a lot of good work. In terms of the book, it's available at Amazon. It's sold out, but it's going to be restocked on Friday. You get it through Barnes & Noble. You can get it through Ignatius Press, which publishes it. But most people like to go to Amazon. You can sign up for it and get it there.
Bill, thanks, man. We may disagree on some things, but boy, it is just time. I talk to you listening. Listen, I talk to you watching here. We could let's talk this out. Let's work this out together.
Absolutely, Joe.
We're all God's children.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
God bless you, brother.
Thank you, buddy.
Okay, Bill Donohue right there. Joe Piscopo on the radio, 877.